Hey guys, welcome to the first quick tips video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to spin an object in case you wanted to spin a logo or for any reason you want to get a complete 360 or turntable animation for your object. This is going to be how to do it. So there's two ways I'm going to be going over this. The first way is just spinning the object itself, and the second way is using a camera clamped to a Bezier circle. So let's get into it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you have your cube here, right? And you're going to want to set your animation, correct? So let's go in here, and to set a keyframe for an object is you're going to hit I. And you're going to either lock the rotation, lock rotation scale, any of these that if you want to use them. It depends on you. So for rotation, we're just going to go lock rotation scale because this gets all three of these up here. It makes it the simplest, especially if you want something to come back to its original frame at the end. So if you want a looping animation. So you're going to set how long you want your animation to be down here in frame wise. So we'll do a 120 frame animation. So we have our first frame right here on 0. You can see it highlighted up on yellow. If we turn this and we click the timeline again, it'll revert back to that keyframe. So now we're going to have to go to the last frame of our animation, and we're going to spin the object 360 degrees, right? Or 359 if you want a synced object. There's two ways to do this. So you can go 359. So 359 on Z because it spins around Z. So 359. Now you can either hit I over this cell and I'll lock rotation scale. It'll just lock the rotation. Or you can lock rotation scale here and it'll lock all of those. So now if you come in here, you'll see that you have this little speed up and then slow down. And if you've gotten this far already and you're here just to fix this, there's a quick way to fix this. You need to come over to your editor panels and you need to change one of these or add another one by going to Graph Editor. We're going to break this down. A lot of the online guys will tell you to hit Control A and then change it by changing all of them, but sometimes that doesn't work and it can lead to some frustration. So what we're going to do is, we know we're spinning it around the Z-axis, right? So that's this guy right here. You notice it has this bent. It's not exactly a straight linear curve. So after we select that, we're going to go to the interpolation, and we're going to go to linear. So now we got a nice smooth animation. So you come in here and we're going to hit play. And you can see it's doing this nice smooth spinning. So it's got a good loop to it. It looks good. So if we go to our 120th frame, we see that we stopped at 359 because 0 degrees and 360 are the same. But say that you forgot, right? Say let's clear this frame. And to clear frames, you actually Alt-I. And you'll delete those frames. So say you messed up and you put 360, right? So let's go 360. We'll lock that back in. And now you're watching it and it looks good, right? So you get into this last frame and you can't see it, but there's a little bit of a delay. If you did that, that's fine. You can also just render out to 119 and it'll be the same thing as setting it to 359. Depending on you, most likely you'll want to do it the other way. But if you made this slight mistake, it's not a big deal. But if you have other animations, this will throw it off. So you want to keep that in mind. So say you do turntable animations all the time, and you don't want to come in here and hit this plus button and change it to linear every time you want to get it done, right? You don't want to have to come in here and just go, oh, I do this every day. What you can actually do is you can come with your file, go to your user preferences, and you go to your editing, and you can set your default interpolation. And you go and set that to linear, and you click Save User Settings. So anytime you do an animation, it'll be defaulted to linear. So let's go ahead and look at the next style of doing a animation or a spinning animation that we want. So also another thing, of course, you'd bring your camera in here. If you want it straight on, you move it over, and you just render out your animation. So for the next type, you're going to come in here, we're going to open a new file. And this is a completely different style. So you have multiple objects. Say you have these guys over here, and you want to capture all of them spinning around the middle, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to bring in a circle. You're going to scale it out. You're going to click your camera, and then you're going to hold down Shift, and you're going to turn on your display keys because you forgot to turn them back on. So to go back over that, we're going to be bringing in a Bezier circle, then clicking the camera, clicking the Bezier circle, and we're going to hit Control P. We're going to go to Follow Path. So now the camera is set up to follow that path, but you notice that we have this little line here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into edit mode. We're going to select this vertice because that's where the line is going, and we're going to move our 3D cursor to that point. So with Shift S, we're going to go to cursor to selected, and now our 3D cursor is there. We're going to highlight our camera. We're going to go Shift S one more time. Shift S, not Shift A. And we're going to go selection to cursor. So now, if we come in here and we hit play, we'll notice that our camera is making a little spinning action around it. Cool, very cool. And it stops. But we notice that our camera is not exactly facing the object that we want. Now you can either do two things. You can create an empty, or you can just target one of the objects on the scene. But we'll do the targets on the scene, but you can create an empty if you want. So grab the camera. We will add a constraint because we always want the camera to be pointing at the object, right? So we're going to go to track 2. We're going to select our object. We'll do the one that's in the middle. We notice our camera is flipped oddly. We're going to go to -Z by Y, and now we'll notice our camera is pointing right at our middle object. So we're going to come in here and get the camera's view, and then we're going to hit play and watch the animation spin out because we haven't set the endpoints correctly yet. And we get this nice spinning animation of those guys, right? So now you're wondering, like, hey, I want to set the speed. How do we set the speed? So we're going to come back out of the camera by hitting 0. And we're going to hit the Bezier curve. And we're going to go to frames. And this is how long the animation is, right? So we want a 246 spin around. It'll be nice and slow. We want it slow. We want it quick, lower, obviously. And this is how you control the speed of your animation. So if it's 100 here and you want it looping, you want it to be 100 down here. So you get this nice spinning action. So that's it for this video. If you learned something, give a thumbs up. And if you hate it or like it, you know what to do.